Welcome back to the channel Future CMS. I hope you're doing great. Coming to this particular video, we'll be discussing about the supplementary released by ICMAI for CMA Inter December 2025. If you go onto the ICMA website, they have given certain subjects amendments for December 2025. If you're a final student or you are having any friend or any of your colleagues which are going through CMA final, we have already uploaded paper number 13, Corporate and Economic Laws for CMA final. A huge amendment was there. There are huge amendments in Companies Act, Insolvency Bankruptcy Code, SEBI regulations, MSME, Competition Act, PMLA. They have huge amount of amendments. The video came up to somewhere around 40 minutes. So, but coming to our point, paper number 5, we have very little amount of amendments in our syllabus. I've already downloaded. You can download this on the ICMA website. I've already downloaded this video for you. Sorry, this particular document for you. This document contains very few amendments only from Companies Act. Only amendments are from Companies Act and very few amendments are there. Now, this is good and bad from ICMA, I would say. Good thing is these amendments are very recent in nature. They happened in the early of this particular year itself, early part of this year, and they have already introduced into the syllabus. That is good that they have introduced this in the syllabus in this speed manner, this expeditious manner. But at the same point of time, all these amendments are more practical in nature rather than academical. You as a student will not understand them academically unless you have gone through the MCA website and unless you have filed these documents in the past. So what we'll do is, we'll go through each and every amendments in a little more detailed basis. Will be somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes of a video, if I'm assuming it right, if not less than that itself. But we'll go through every single amendment little detailed, because these are something which you'll understand only when you have done them practically. But nevertheless, if these are amendments and these are important for exam perspective, there's a chance that ICMA can draft a question out of it. But very few points, I've drafted them in a easier format. Keywords have been highlighted, headings have been given properly so that it will be easy for you to read and retain it also. I'll leave this particular document in the description of this particular video. You can share this with your friends or share this video with your friends. Like the video, comment on the video, what else do you require from my side for CMA Inter level also. So coming to this video, we'll have a proper holistic approach about this particular video. We'll have proper in detailed discussion on it. But at the same point of time, I'm not expecting a 7 marks question out of it. It is not worthy of asking a 7 marks question. It is not right for the ICMA to draft a 7 marks from these small little topics. But at the same point of time, there can be a MCQ. MCQ, 2 marks easily can be scored out of it. Listen to this session, maybe 15-20 minutes, once or twice. This should be more than enough for you guys. Let's get started with the topic. The very first amendment here they have given here, in our syllabus is the MCA portal itself. Throughout the Companies Act we have gone through, we have done this logic that we have to file documents with the ROC, we have to file documents, we have to communicate with ROC, we have to file so many communications, so many information, so many intimations, so many documents to the ROC. Every intimation, every communication to ROC has always been done electronically on the MCA website, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Now this Ministry of Corporate Affairs website itself is completely revamped. A new website, a new version of the website has been introduced. They have brought in version 3 of the MCA website. Earlier it was version 2 until last year. The beginning of this year, they have brought in version 3, which is fully functional now. If you have done filings practically, you could have understood this. This new version which is introduced, version 3, has completely removed. Version 3 replaced version 2, brought in version 3. This has brought lot of new formalities, lot of new documents, lot of new forms which are required to be filed. Now, this basically gives a intention that the Ministry of Corporate Affairs here is moving towards a more digitalized way of doing business activities, filing of documents, filing of information, intimations to ROC, MCA filings have become a lot more easy. They have become simpler. They have become a lot more easy to file, lot more easy to prepare. The simpler forms is now making it easy and attractive for people to start a company. The compliances of Companies Act has become a lot more easy today. So that's a basic introduction of the version 3. Coming to the first amendment, we actually have the board's report. Remember, we have done this. We have done this in Board of Directors topic. The board's report is prepared under section number. If you have not gone through the Board of Directors revision class already, we have it on the YouTube channel uploaded. Go through that. It will help you at least a 25 to 30 marks. If not, I'll be uploading it again also if possible in the next couple of weeks. Coming to this, section number 134, the board's report. Board's report has a lot of content. Whatever decisions that have taken by the Board of Directors throughout the last 1 year, while performing their duties as a director are explained through the document board's report. This board report has lot of points. They already had the logic regarding sexual harassment complaints. Whenever any kind of sexual harassment complaints are filed in the company, those sexual harassment complaints has to be tackled by the board of directors, and this has to be disclosed how they have tackled it in the board's report. Now the new board's report states that we have a little more detailed disclosure regarding sexual harassment complaints. We'll have 4 points which are added into the disclosure point. How many number of complaints have been received by the company? Higher the number of complaints, that means company, can I say, is failing to prevent sexual harassment. That's the first wrong thing the company is doing. So the number of complaints should be as low as possible. If not zero in the company should be able to prevent it first. If not able to prevent it, once a complaint is received, the company has to redress the complaint as soon as possible. What complaints have been disposed of? How have you disposed them of? What complaints, how many complaints have been disposed of after they have been received by the company? Once they have been disposed of, everything is settled down. But there's a chance that you have not disposed it yet. The complaint has received, sexual harassment complaint is received, but the complaint is not yet disposed of, not yet redressed, not yet solved in the company. It is still pending. It is still pending. Can I say the board of directors are inefficient to solve it? But I cannot come to the conclusion that they're always inefficient. There might be situations where the sexual harassment complaint received yesterday, and it will take time for them to understand the depth of what has actually happened, investigate into it, then come and take an action. So the Companies Act has given the time frame here stating that if it is pending for more than 90 days, I believe that you have failed to dispose it of correctly. Disclose it to the ROC through this board's report. For the 3 categories amount, number of complaints received, the disposed complaints which are already been settled off, or if there are pending for more than 90 days, disclose it. All this disclosure has now been connected with the Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act. POSH. Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act has been linked with the topic of board's report, so that the sexual harassment will be reduced at the corporate level as much as possible. Along with this, they have also added the second category, Maternity Benefit Acts. Now, if you guys are aware about it, we have done this in Factories Act and etc. Maternity leaves are provided. Women during their maternity period, they are given a lot of benefits so that they'll not feel basically left alone, or they are given enough amount of resources to manage themselves during that period. A declaration of compliances with the Maternity Benefit Act. We have complied with the rules and regulations of Maternity Benefit Act. They have given leave. They have given a proper place to settle. They have given a proper place to take a rest. They are given a proper place during the maternity leave for the purpose of work environment. They are not stressed through overtime, etc. All the rules and regulations of Maternity Benefit Act have been complied with, has to be declared by the board of directors, mentioned in the board's report. That's the first amendment we have. Second category of amendment talks about lot of documents which are filed electronically now have been specifically for the chapter accounts of company. There's a chapter called as accounts of company. The irony here is this chapter is not even there in our syllabus, and they've given this chapter forms as an amendment. I'm not sure how ICMA is giving this chapter. It's good that they're giving amendments, but while giving amendments, they should have taken little care. This chapter is not even there in our syllabus now. So, leave that aside. A new form have been introduced. Lot of forms have been introduced for filing documents to the ROC regarding especially financial statements. Financial statements, books of accounts, the financial statements, consolidated financial statements are prepared, filed with the ROC, board's report is filed, etc. While these documents are being filed with the ROC, either in a PDF format or XBRL format, we have to attach few more documents. Are you getting this logic clear? Financial statements and consolidated financial statements, books of accounts, board's report, these are all part of a chapter called as accounts of company. The shortcut for them is AOC, accounts of companies. AOC forms are now made electronic, which is mandatory, and along with this filing of AOC forms, we should also make attachment of few documents either in PDF or in XBRL. What is XBRL, sir? Extensive Business Reporting Language, which is a slightly different kind of a format which will give more detailed disclosure about the documents. If you are applicable with XBRL, don't go in detail into it. If you are applicable with XBRL, you have to file documents in XBRL. Otherwise, you can file it usually in a PDF format. So what are the documents which are required to be attached? Starting with the extract of the board's report entirely. and that board report will be extract of the board report will be attached to this financial statement. These forms are filed with the ROC auditor's report. It can be either the auditor's report of the standalone company or it can be auditor's report of the consolidated entity will be filed with the ROC. Then the signed financial statements. These financial statements are signed initially by the board of directors. Remember this, we have done this signing of financial statements by board of directors under section number 134. We have done this logic signing. Once these have been signed, this document, signed financial statements, board's report, auditor's report will be filed with the ROC along with the AOC forms. That's what AOC amendment. Read it once, twice, you will be able to remember what's there in the amendment, not the entire chapter, guys. This is something which we have a little knowledge about. Two forms, MGT 7. We have learned these forms in the classroom. MGT 7 and MGT 7A. We have filed the annual returns. Annual returns are filed with the ROC under section number 92. They are prepared under form number MGT 7. If at all you are a OPC or a small company, you will prepare in an abridged format in form number MGT 7A. Though they have given two forms, MGT 7 and MGT 7A. These are for annual returns, annual reports. Then we have MGT 15. MGT 15 talks about report on AGM. Remember, this report on AGM is mandatory for listed companies. Listed companies, once the AGM has been completed, they have to file what has happened in the AGM to the ROC under section number 121. This report on AGM is filed under form number MGT 15. Now this MGT 15 and MGT 7 and MGT 7A has been added with three extra information. One, the photograph, not your photograph, not your other photograph. We have to mention the photograph of your registered office. Then you have to mention the summary of the indebtedness, loans taken by the company, and the expanded details of the shareholders. Shareholders details have to be submitted. If you remember the content of, I'm not expecting you to remember every single minute point, but logic is the details of the shareholders have been mentioned in the annual reports under section number MGT 7. This annual returns which you are filing, you call it as report or you call it as return, anything is fine. Annual returns which are filed with the ROC will be mentioning details of the shareholders. These details of shareholders are a little more extensive in nature. Lot more details are to be disclosed now. So what are three categories here? Just give me the form numbers first. MGT 7 or MGT 7A or MGT 15 will be filed with ROC. While they are being filed with ROC, we will add three extra documents. One, photograph, not your photograph, not your other photograph, to be more specific. Photograph of your registered office. You will file the details of the indebtedness of the company, and you will file the details about your shareholders in a little more expanded manner. There are three documents filed. Reporting of fraud. This is a very beautiful topic. This actually is required. Amendment is actually required in the practical world. So come to the logic. As an auditor, first and foremost, it is not my responsibility to detect or prevent a fraud. Prevention or detection of fraud is a responsibility of the board of directors. But if any stage of time, if I am able to detect a fraud, I'll go and report. And if the fraud is amounting, the amount involved in fraud is more than equal to 1 crore, I have to go report it to the central government. While I'm reporting to central government, I'll file a form called as ADT4. So who is filing it? Get the basics clear, Amma. Auditor is reporting a fraud to the central government if the amount involved in fraud is more than 1 crore in form number ADT4. This ADT4, what used to happen is, this ADT4 used to be posted to the central government. It could have been either sent as a registered post or speed post. Registered post which is having acknowledgement due. Registered post or speed post. And I should have also sent a email to confirm that I have sent a post. Are you getting my point clear, Ma? We have to send a post and we have to send a email stating that the post is being sent to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Now there's a lot of loopholes in it. The post can be lost. There may be delay in the delivery of post to the central government. If there's a delay in the delivery of post, that means central government will get the information delayed. If the central government gets the information delayed, they can take the action in a lot more delayed basis. If they're taking action on delayed basis, there's a chance that the offender might have absconded already. The offender might have covered up all the fraud she has done. The offender might have covered up all the traces of the fraud, will not be able to find and investigate it. So the process of detecting fraud, reporting it and taking action should happen as soon as possible. But if you are sending it through post, There might be a delay, there might be loss, or somebody might have manipulated this during the transit. Now they have removed the topic of postal reporting. Rather than reporting through post, now this reporting is actually made electronically. That's a very good amendment. 884 will be filed with the central government today, not in postal basis. It will be filed on a electronic basis. Electronically filing 884 so that it will be a lot more easy, no manipulation, less time delay. Action will be taken as soon as possible. One of the good amendments that has happened. Reporting of fraud. Then last couple of them, we should be done within 2 or 3 minutes. That's it. Cost records and audit. Again, CRA forms, cost records and audit. CRA forms, CRA 2 and CRA 4 has been amended. New information is required to be. Are you getting this logic? All the forms we are discussing here, they are not new forms that are completely introduced. They are the existing forms which have been revised to be more effective, more simpler, and more easy for the companies to follow, but more disclosures are required. So last couple of points here. CRA forms. The CRA forms is basically a cost auditor. The cost auditor has to file it with the MCA regarding the ROC. The new information which is extensively required here is the firm registration number. If the cost auditor is a partnership firm, the firm registration number has to be filed with the ROC. If a new cost auditor is appointed, understand this, you were assuming you are a cost accountant, right? Not assuming you are a cost accountant. It's just a matter of time that you are a cost accountant. If you are acting as a cost accountant of a company, why did the previous cost auditor did not get reappointed? My doubt is the previous cost auditor was already existing. He might have continued his services, but rather than appointing the previous cost auditor, they have appointed me as a cost auditor. There should be a reason why this person has been changed as a cost auditor. Give me the reasons for any change in the cost auditor. If there's a change, submit the reasons for such change of the cost auditor to the ROC. The company will file it. Or if there is any GNL, I'll come to this. GNL is discussed here. GNL is basically a default form. What is GNL? GNL full form is general purpose communication forms. What happened here is, we have done this in the classroom. I hope you guys remember this. Deposits chapter has forms called as DPT, a shortcut for deposits. Charges chapter has forms called as CHG, a shortcut for charges. Management chapter, management administration, general meeting chapter has form numbers called as MGT. Again, we have these forms PAS, prospectus and allotment of securities, pass forms, or share capital, SC forms. So we had lot of forms we have discussed, and if you observe, the forms are drafted for chapter basis. Every chapter has its own way of defining forms. But if any concept, a particular concept which doesn't fall under a particular single chapter, they have been generalized and they have called as GNL forms. The GNL 1 form talks about if the company has made any kind of default, the default has to be intimated to the ROC in form number GNL 1. What default have you done? What description of default have you done? What amount of default is there? When has the default happened? Have you rectified it or not? All the terms and conditions, all the information about the default has to be informed to the ROC in form number GNL1, including the register office, fees, etc. everything. Now topic is, once it is filed, once it has been filed with the ROC, obviously electronically on the MCA website, as soon as you file these forms, you'll get something called as SRN. What is SRN, sir? SRN is nothing but a tracking ID for your request you have made under MCA website. Simple topic. You have ordered something on Amazon. You will receive a tracking ID. Where has it received? Is it received or not? Is it in the warehouse? Is it dispatched from the warehouse? Is it with the agent? Is it received? Is it already refunded or not? Is it cancelled? You will have a tracking ID. The same tracking ID for the MCA website is SRN, service request number. As soon as you file anything as NSR in the MCA website, or you apply anything in MCA website, whether it is approved or disapproved, it is a required rectification, etc. You will check everything. You will be able to check everything through your SRN, service request number. We have requested a service, they are given a number for it to be tracked. So SRN number will be submitted. If you have made a default, this is only required if we have filed form number GNL1. That means you have already made a default, and for that default we have filed GNL1. Give me the SRN of the GNL1 so that I'll understand till what has it received for. And then last point, details of your AGM. Details of your AGM are required to be filed in Form numbers CRA2 and CRA4, revised forms, extra information is filed. Last topic, already given this topic. GNL1 is amended to disclose more details about the default you have made regarding the defaults. But one good thing they have done here is they have removed the procedural aspect of stamp duty. That means this GNL1 is required to be filed with the ROC in the MCA website, where more details are required regarding what default have they done. Give me the wordings here: description of default, period of default, reason, rectification status, etc. Everything will be filed. Detailed disclosure is done on GNL, revised GNL1, but they're not required to mention they're not required to affix it with a stamp. Stamp duty is not required. Procedural aspect is reduced, but disclosures are increased. Transparency is increased, openness is increased, effectiveness is increased, but procedure aspect is reduced. It will be user friendly for me, also for better information of ROC. Now, if you observe all the amendments we have discussed, everything is practical in nature. I expect you guys to go through this video once, twice, thrice and leave it. Should be max to max and one MCQ or two MCQs that can be drafted if they are drafted. If not, they'll not come for exam. So go through them once or twice. It should be more than fine. I'll leave this particular document in the description. Go through that, download it, read it, print it out, or read it multiple times. It should be fine, right? We'll continue in the next video. See you in the next video. I hope your preparations are going on point. If not, take this as a wake-up call and make sure that your preparations are a little more increased. Half an hour a day extra today will help you that 5-10 marks in the exam hall. Make sure that you're not going to regret it after the exams are done. You have enough time from today also to make sure that you'll be able to tackle all the subjects, all the chapters. Everything will be settled if you're putting efforts. Only thing is, it's your mindset to put efforts for the next couple of months for your CMA exam. All the very best. Will come out lot more videos in the near future, in the next couple of months for your December attempt. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys.